The chair started off. A chair is for me, very symbolic. I mean, what can you do with a chair? You sit with a chair, you sit around a table with on chairs and do discussion. And there's a lot of chairs in churches and, benches and so on. So the process of sitting down is also symbolic of, you've got conferences, you've got negotiations on chairs.
Yeah. Good morning, Juanita. So great to meet you here on Zoom.
Yes, Vitra. It's lovely to be here.
You are based in South Africa. Where exactly are you?
In the center of Cape Town. From my window, I can see the mountain.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, what an inspiration.
Yeah. It's really sort of, I live in a very small place, but I work from here, but it's really inspirational. All my windows are always open.
Wonderful.
It's lovely.
And Juanita, I love your work. I saw your work on Instagram, and I haven't seen it in a gallery, but on Instagram I could see all the things you're doing, and so beautiful. I absolutely love your work. Tell me, you're a designer and an artist, so where did your journey as an artist start?
Okay, well, I was not an artist, not trained as an artist at all. I trained as an occupational therapist. And actually, I didn't know what to study after school. And I was at university, in Stellenbosch University, I was with my roommate, and she was an occupational therapist. And I thought, well, I was doing actually gymnastics. And I said, well, I love the creativity of it. So I changed to occupational therapist. But I mean, it was the most worst thing that I could have done, because I just love the creativity, and I was actually thinking going into a hospital. So I was not prepared to, I qualified as an occupational therapist, but I actually worked then just at remedial schools, a school for cerebral palsy children. And actually I was attending creatively to children with learning problems. And I love children, and I love to be creative. And through that, actually, I've worked and traveled quite a lot. So, but then I got married, and I started doing all sorts of other things, and I worked for a corporate gift company. And then I discovered material polypropylene as a medium to work with, and I created a lot of packaging material and promotional things. And then I went on my own and become actually a product designer.
Oh, okay.
So I did that for 12 years.
But product design, was that something, did you went to study again for product design?
No,
was it something that came natural?
It came natural, sort of. And I started my own company, Pepper Plum Designs. And I actually was manufacturing a lot for the corporate industry and for the wine industry, making wine containers and packaging.
Wow.
And and household things, lights and lamps and stationery and all that. So, but I only work in polypropylene.
But this sounds amazing. Where did you get the experience for, just not just designing, but production as well?
Yeah, I went overseas and I've looked around and sort of, but I taught myself how to do joints and was experimenting. Yeah, and joints are, to join, because polypropylene is a very difficult material to work with, because it's not pliable. You can crease
Oh,
it
okay.
and fold it, and but it's also sheet polyprop. It's only 800 by 1200 wide, so you can't sculpt big, with it.
Yeah,
But I've actually experienced amazing, development in that, and actually at that stage, everything was very cottagey. At the end of the 2000.
Yeah.
It was just more wood, and the clean look of polypropylene was not sort of so visible in the market and all that. But then, of course, it's not green because it's biodegradable, but it's not biodegradable, but very much. It can break up, but there's a toxic gas that comes exposed when you burn it or something like that. So yes, so that is not the way to go with plastic. And then I actually concentrate much more on cardboard, on board, and paper. And there is where the paper sort of came in. And I design more with that kind of material. But then my children, they were all involved in the business. But then I decided to change and to actually come back to Cape Town and start an art, career. So I need doing this now. 12 years.
Wow. But from one material to the next, was that did you have to change a lot in the way you designed then?
Yeah, it was different, but paper is it's so amazing. I love paper and what you can do with paper. So but I was a finalist in a competition that I won the prize for at the Hermanus FynArts, and with the money I went to Israel to learn from a guy called Paul Jackson, and he's actually a master origamist. So, but I didn't want to do origami, as such, but I wanted to learn more about paper. And he said, well, I invited him to come to South Africa because I thought maybe we can give it. So he said, well, he's fully booked for 3 years. Oh. So I said, but what about if I come to you? He said, well, so I said, I've got this little bit of money and I would like just to learn more about paper. So I went for an intensive 6-day course to Tel Aviv. And it was very interesting. So
amazing how paper, I wouldn't, I see paper as paper, but you see paper differently. So
paper has got a grain. Paper has got a grain. And if you fold paper, a piece of paper, from the one side to the other, the crease is different from if you find it from left to right.
Okay. The
crease is different because there is a fine grain that we can't see in paper, but it influences the fold. Wow. So, that is just a small aspect, but I didn't go into that much detail now for my art. But, I love what I'm doing now, and it's sort of concentrating on more on.
So paper. Did you, when you started working with paper, did you then focus mainly on your art? So then it was not more, it was not about product designing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Then it was just my art, and I do that for the last 12 years.
Wow. And I see, you use art and you make your art from it. Is it, if I understand it right? So you take an art piece and then you create your art piece from it.
Yeah, it depends. There's always a theme, sort of.
Yeah.
I work a lot with chairs. I make a lot of paper chairs. And also then I decided to start and create all the Vitra design museum chairs, the Vitra sort of, that it's sort of, and then I start also designing my own chairs, making adaptations, because with paper you are limited. You can't do curves so much and so on. So I sort of, I've got a whole, I'll show you, this is a paper chair.
Oh, wow. And you actually create the chair.
Yeah, the chair, it's made with the back and the front and the legs. And I make various sizes, and and make it in big installations in my artwork and so on. So you can see on Instagram quite a lot.
Yeah, I saw. And what is it about the chair?
The chair started off. A chair is for me, very symbolic. I mean, what can you do with a chair? You sit with a chair, you sit around a table with on chairs, and do discussion. And there's a lot of chairs in churches, and benches and so on. So the process of sitting down is also symbolic of you've got conferences, you've got negotiations around on chairs.
Yeah. I've never thought of that, but
so I actually started off. Yeah, and a table as well. A table and chairs. I often make that in my artwork sometimes. But the chair story started with I had to do an image or a weave. Actually, I do a lot of paper weaving, and there was a reflection in the weave. And I found on the internet an image of a chair standing in water. And there was a reflection in the water of the chair. And then I wove it. It was a very big piece that I wove. And then I thought, well, it looks a bit empty. I must put a 3-dimensional chair in it. So I made a chair, and there's actually where this chair story started.
And
but I do also, apart from the chairs, I do a lot of weaving, paper weaving. And the story behind that also started with somebody that actually gave me a plate. She was heartbroken because a very heirloom plate from her grandma broke. And it was in pieces. And I said, but give the plate to me. I'll try and solve the problem. So I took a photo of the plate. I put it together with glue, and I took a photo of the plate, and I print the plate on paper. And I printed twice, and then I weaved it. Weave it into each other. Actually, I'll show you a piece.
Yeah.
This is how you cut. You print the plate twice.
Yeah.
And then you weave it into the one plate like this, and the other one like this, and then you start weaving into each other.
Wow!
And then later on, you will insert a piece of the porcelain in the artwork like that.
Oh, but that.
Like this.
Oh wow! Yeah, I saw this picture on Instagram. It was beautiful.
Yeah, so I've got many plates that I've woven like that. So you get the image again back, and this was the broken piece.
Yeah.
That you insert in the artwork.
It's amazing. And then you call it broken but healed.
Yeah, because the broken plate was now healed actually with that.
Yeah.
The image that you've got.
Amazing.
But this shows you that it was actually broken, because it's
But it's got a deeper meaning for me, because I heard this a story about the Japanese art, where they actually use broken yeah,
with the gold that you meant with the
yeah,
gold.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
But because I'm a paper artist, I wanted to do it with the
yeah,
paper. Yeah.
and it's
So,
and it's so beautiful that you think broken but healed, and you think it's really that meaning of also in our lives. I thought of that.
yeah,
Looking at
yeah,
that,
yeah.
I thought, yeah, it's really
You can't solve
something
it.
beautiful comes from it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it was actually very emotional for her to receive the plate,
I can imagine. Yeah.
and she could hang it on. Yeah.
But do you think also your background in occupational therapy, that you've worked with, you worked in a field where you really could support people, or where you saw things, where you worked and saw how creativity maybe also had a healing process. Do you think that also helped you in the art that you're doing now?
Yeah, maybe to a certain extent, but yeah, I didn't think of that so much as when I started this. But thinking back, maybe yeah, it was sort of because I love children and handicapped children. Would love to also to create something nice,
Yeah.
or that they can be praised for and so on. And I love my work as an occupational therapist very much, but I really specialized and doing it only into schools with handicapped children and
Okay.
also with learning problems and that was special.
And you, I mean, of course, if we talked about the paper weaving and you got the plate, so that inspired you, or that inspires the arts. But so what else inspires you to create something?
In daily life, in nature, and I like to I love to travel a lot, and I'm visiting other galleries and museums, and yeah, it's just amazing, the world out there. So we are very privileged in South Africa. There's a lot of creativity in South Africa, really, and I think it was also part of the isolation that maybe the country was in for a long time, but there's amazing talent here. So we learn from each other, and also, but I think it's necessary to travel to experience other sort of horizons.
Yeah, but your work is you have to be quite perfectionistic.
Yes,
Do what you're doing. Oh, you are. Okay.
I am a perfectionist. I'm not a very patient person. I walk
I wanted
fast.
to ask, no, but I wanted to ask that because you have to be very patient to do all those
Yeah,
very intricate. Yeah.
it's very funny. It's very peculiar. Actually, I'm not a patient person. I walk fast. I can't take somebody that talks slowly and so on. But when it comes to my work, I have all the time.
Oh, really?
I can spend hours on folding little blocks and making little chairs, and then I've got patient at love, and I can work till 12 o'clock at night. And so it is amazing actually when I'm busy with creating, I've got patience.
And
but,
do you, these chairs, because if you look at them on your artworks, they look so very much precise. Are you hard on yourself to get it that way?
I do. I want it exactly right. And if it's skew, I will start again or so on. And also with this weaving, I mean, it must be absolutely square. I mean, this from there to there, and I work the whole time with the ruler. It must be straight, vertically and horizontally. So yeah, and when I cut it as well, it's I am sort of skilled now to cut it, quite fast and to weave quite fast. So after so many plates, I can quite sort of weave quite a lot.
And do you sometimes can you see the evolution in your work? Can you see how you is it times where you think, I want to move away from this, or I want to do something else, or do you try to just keep expanding on what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to expand more on different techniques. So I've got a new project coming up now that you'll see maybe on Instagram. But it's still selling well, and there's still a demand for it, weaving and chairs and so on. So yeah, but now I apply, and then I start also working much bigger now.
Okay.
I used to make only small work, and now I'm working on 60 by 60 centimeters, or even 80 by 80. So I had an exhibition in Berlin, and in April, in paper positions, and all my work was nearly 60 by 60. So that was a huge sort of. But I'm working in a small space, so I haven't always got time. I mean, space to work on a bigger surface. But I loved it. I mean, it is very sort of minimalistic, my work, and people interested in that kind of work has got maybe big modern houses and big spaces, and they would like to they like to have bigger work.
But yeah, although your work, even if it's not big, it's so it's so interesting, and it's really when you look at it,
very fine, and it's small.
Really
I work with the optimizer as well, because I've got I wear contact lenses, but I mean, if I do very fine work, I work with optimizer.
Wow. But I saw also on Instagram you work, you take artworks and sort of I saw the kiss now, because it's something from Vienna, and you dissected it really. You made a sort of, it looks like you took all the little pieces out there. Yeah,
I took all Klimt's faces and
that's right.
And all the faces are out of things. I love his work. And it was one of the few colored works that I've used in color, because I only work maybe in black and white. But I felt that need the color in that work. And I love to work with puzzles. So sometimes I will sublimate an image of the work on a puzzle.
Okay.
And then break it up. I've got a piece here. This plate is, I don't know whether it's sort of, this plate is a typical example of the ruler pattern, but instead of insert the porcelain, I've put a piece of
I see.
puzzle inside. Because it's also reflecting the broken plate.
Yeah.
So
that's wonderful. And do you then cut the puzzle pieces yourself?
No. It's already cut puzzle that you sublimate the image on.
So I see.
So you print actually the image on a puzzle. And actually, there's a lot of possibilities if you discovered that technique. I mean,
really?
Unbelievable.
But I love your, how you think about it, and how you use different forms of art also,
there's sometimes a message in sort of in the work and so on, but actually I leave it to the observer to interpret my work and find something. And then I'm not very prescriptive what it's all about. So they can make their own sort of feeling of what they did.
But while you're working, are you thinking about something? I mean, are you thinking about what this could represent to you then?
Yeah, well, there's not such a lot of emotional thing behind it.
Okay.
I love just to create something minimalistic and very beautiful for that I love.
Yeah. Not that complicated. I mean, for the thought, yeah.
No, not so. Just philosophy.
Yeah, okay.
Philosophy behind it.
Yeah. But Juanita, do you teach as well? Do you teach, No, you don't.
I really haven't got time. I work every day of my life. I work unless I travel. I'm blessed, luckily, with lots of energy. I go early in the morning to gym, then I go for a coffee, and then I start working.
Okay.
So, and then, it's a full day. I love to go to music concerts and that. But I also work on my own. So I'm very happy to listen to music and to TED Talks and to your interviews.
Oh,
and,
lovely. Good to know.
Yeah. So I'm very happy to, and I actually concentrate the best if I'm on my own. And work in silence.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's true. And in South Africa and with your work specifically, do you do a lot of exhibitions?
I do, but I supply also 2 or 3 big galleries that really expose my work to a lot of tourists, and a lot of tourists buy my work. Not so much South Africans.
That's interesting.
There's a lot of exposure to in the tourist industry and also I've got this one gallery that actually represents me in Germany. Okay. So she's the traveling artist gallery, and she does a lot of my work, and I get a lot of exposure then there. And also in Mallorca, she's got a gallery there, and she concentrates. Actually, she's a German lady, and she concentrates on the South African artists.
Okay, that's interesting. But also, if you say your pieces are not big, it's easy to buy from South Africa and to.
Oh yes, no problem. They send nearly every week courier work from overseas.
That's amazing.
And very seldom people will take artwork with them in their suitcases. Everybody send it to the States. Last week they send everywhere.
That's wonderful. But Juanita, what are the wishes now for you for the future?
I would love to travel more.
Okay.
And I hope to create more even bigger pieces, and to attend more art fairs overseas. I think I need to have exposure. It was this last one that I was in Berlin. It was amazing for me to see. It went very well, and to see that people appreciate your work. And, because we, to a certain extent, are a little bit isolated in South Africa in a way that you can't sort of just quickly go over the border somewhere. It's a whole sort of process to travel, but it's not. I mean, with the internet and social media, I mean, but I find my work need to be seen in person because it's 2-dimensional work. So when you send somebody to a gallery overseas, they like it and so on, but when they've seen it themselves, then they can interpret the image much better.
I can imagine that. Yeah,
there's a lot of depths. I work in different depths of frames. Different depths. So 4 and 6 centimeters. So you must create an art piece in 4 centimeters. So it's sometimes a challenge.
But even even when you just held up this little chair, it made such a difference in how I'm going to see now your work. Because it's
yeah. So there are. I just want to show you something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will, for instance, show you. I mean, this is a variety of chairs that I've made. Sort of. So I will sit at night and do some chairs.
Yeah.
There is a little chair like that.
Unbelievable.
And then a chair, but that is just my own creations.
Yeah.
Of the chair like
So
this, for instance.
Oh, wow.
And then I've got figures as well that's sitting on the chair.
But it's so intricate. I mean, it's such fine work.
I will make, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, this chair, sort of excess of 4 pieces. I will make a big one on scale and then ask my graphic designer to scale it down and then have it laser cut.
Oh, I see.
It's laser cut, but in 4 pieces, and then I put them together.
And then do you glue them together?
Yeah. I've got a file. I use a little.
With a little nozzle.
With a little nozzle, and then you get a glue on it.
And does the glue does the glue
paper glue?
So it doesn't matter if it's does it have
no paper glue? No, a paper. It's also, this is glue is very forgiving because you can't see it. It dries. It dries clear. So that's very nice.
I love that. No, I absolutely love that. It's almost like a little dollhouse chair.
Creativity, yeah. So there's so many. I've got so many ideas, and that I still want to do, and inspirations, and so on. So there's never a dull moment that I have got no idea what will I do today.
But does it frustrate you that you sometimes, if you don't get enough time to get to all the things, because there must be things in your imagination that you want to do, and then
at night I've got the most amazing dreams of things that I can do. I want to do. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult. I've got 2 weeks, and what will I do first to what will be the best decision for me to make? What will? But chairs always sell. So chairs are sort of people are fascinated by the work of, if you just see this a lot of chairs that I've done, and then some. So it's very fascinating for people that you can see that you actually did it out of paper and not a 3D printer or something like that.
Yeah. And do you when you go somewhere, are you very much aware of chairs? Is that?
I do. I love to go and look at chairs and give me ideas of new designs. But I've also got a very nice chair book that has got all the chairs in the world. But the Milan fair is always just about chairs. So new. But it's not always all chairs are upholstered chairs that I can manufacture in paper. So
no, that's true. Well, thank you so much for your wonderful story and your time and for sharing this with me. I absolutely love your work. I would so love to see it in an exhibition, to see it for real, really. This is
when you come to South Africa,
Yeah, definitely. And I hope when you travel, or when you come to Europe, that maybe one day there will be one of your exhibitions here in Vienna.
Wow, well, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. I really hope so.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It's a great pleasure, Juanita.